That's fine,
Yay,
I guess.
success! Woo! Let's
Thanks
get
for
this
asking.
party started.
Becky, I asked Jack a question. What did you say, Jack?
It's okay, I guess. Thanks for
Okay.
asking.
Okay, good. This is your last year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It-
then onward and upward to bigger things.
right.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Becky.
No problem. I'm just glad we're recording. So the topic for this week is, what do you believe or feel or know what happens after we pass on in this human life as we perceive it? And I would like to do a little different setup here today. I'm going to ask the first person to give their opinion or their remarks, and then I want that person to pick the next person, and so on. So I would like Dad to be the first person.
I know. She wants you to go first.
All right.
He-
I don't know.
When you're ready, I'll give a brief, very brief. But let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, you're ready.
We're ready.
All right. I'm having difficulty talking, so Mom's gonna talk for me today. But all I wanted to let you know was when we grew up, we were learned about, of course, three options. One of the first is heaven, second is hell, the third is purgatory. And it soon became apparent as we had matured that purgatory was not really an option, because if you do what the good Christian is, the save again Christian, born again Christian says, if you're saved, Jesus forgives you no matter what, and as you don't have to worry about arriving in heaven with some sins, because everybody sins, and if you're a good Christian, he forgives you. So no matter what, you're saved if you're born again. Now, being a born again means you have to declare Christ, Jesus Christ, as your one and only Savior. If you do that, you have no worry about going to heaven. You are definitely a candidate for heaven. And so that's that. That's how I grew up, and how I believe today is that I look at the beautiful autumn around me, leaves are falling, life is changing as always. It's beautiful colors are changing, and it's Becky's organic time for things to become old and die, and then winter comes and we start all over again. I think that's where we are. To be honest with you, I believe that nature has determined many years ago, eons ago, what's going to happen to all living things. And the only difference between a male, a person like me, and 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 a monkey is that I have a thumb, and so I am a higher carnivore. Carnivore. I am going to be saved as a human being with a thumb, not as an animal, but I will be saved if there is such a thing, and so I'm confident that I'm not going to take it a third option, only one option, and that is to be born again with our Savior. And I'm hoping that it'll happen. But if it doesn't, it's nature's way. And I'm content with the idea. As long as I've had a good life, I've had a great life, a great family. I'm a happy man, Matt.
Well, I'll add to that because Ellen Freeman has assured him that he's going to heaven.
Sure, Auntie Jean has too. Oh,
Yeah.
He's very spiritual.
that's very. I love your answer, Dad. I love your whole view, and it's very comforting to all of us to hear that. And just thank you for sharing, taking that breath to share and time. And you get to be the one to pick the next person, Dad.
I, how about you?
Me?
What's you?
Okay. Well, I feel, or it's not so much a feel, or it's not so much a know, because you know what? I don't know. I just don't know. For whatever reason, I'm not made to know. I can choose to believe in what I'm going to do after this life. I can choose to be going to heaven. I can choose to be reincarnated, you know, those beliefs. But since I don't know, I'm open. I'm so open. But I'm grateful that I've had many wise teachers in my life. My parents, I've had beautiful teachings of different religions that tell you how to live in this life now. And so thank goodness, because if I don't know where I'm going, at least I can work on where I am now. And I'm really grateful for the teachings and the love that I've had in my life. Like you, Dad, I'm so happy in so many times, so many ways. And I'm comfortable with not knowing. I have just like unbridled faith. So, okay, so that's my answer. And so my person I'm going to choose is number 5.
Okay, I heard everything you said, Becky. I appreciate where you are with, you know, not knowing or not having a knowing, like, you know, you're being open. And I think that that's really great. And I love what Dad shared. As you know, I had a strong reaction to this question. And I've been thinking about my reaction more than I have what my answer is. And, you know, I don't know that I really enjoy talking about this. And it's really interesting because I have a lot of faith, and I believe in heaven, and I believe in God and Jesus, and I feel like there's a vibration going on right now in our world that is not positive, and I believe that there's some evil in the world. And so it's like unsettling times, and I'm just, you know, I believe in the power of prayer. I believe in the power of, you know, just life. Like that, like life doesn't end when our physical bodies go away. I just really am very, very, very uncomfortable talking about it. I guess it's because I'm not really comfortable talking about politics. I'm not really comfortable talking about sex. I'm not really comfortable about talking about money. So it's really interesting. I like to stay in my lane. Like if you want to talk about self-improvement, you know, of your mind and body and soul and things like that, I can talk about those things all day long. So I have found it to be rather, you know, perplexing, because I'm always considered myself a deep thinker. I always consider myself one who wants to get to the heart of the matter, to the root of the matter. Like I don't like surface conversation at all. And so I find it interesting that I don't want to talk about this. And I think a lot of it has to do with is it just makes me feel really sad.
Say that again. It makes you feel what?
Sad.
Really sad.
Yeah.
It makes me feel really sad because
It's okay.
We know why.
so anyways, that's my answer and I'm sticking to it. So I don't really have a girls.
I'm going to turn off my mute so you guys don't have to deal with this.
You got to pick who's
I'm
next.
going to pick Jeff.
Well, it's Nancy. It's funny that you ended that. It makes you feel sad because I have this strong inherent belief that we are going to a better place, and I feel that all of you. Hold on a second. All of you that I care about and love are going to be with me. And I feel so strongly about it that it really gives me self-reassurance and also happiness. It just makes me so happy that I'll see you when the time has come for me, that's where our happiness is really, really, truly going to be. That's the way I feel. I can talk more about it, but it's like, sorry. I have a really strong faith in that, and I'm so blessed and to have the family I do, and those that are close to me. And I think there's going to be others that it's going to be surprising that I'm going to see in my future that I don't even realize I had strong faith and that are going to be there after I pass. But I also am like what was originally talked with about Dad. It's like there's purgatory and so forth. I think we're all destined that have hearts and strong belief to see each other after death. And there's certainly going to be people that we're not going to see. But I think that we all try to do good for the better good.
Did you answer Mom's question?
I said Pelosi.
Yeah, we're not going to see her.
Shame on you.
So that's my answer.
Then you get to pick.
Oh, I'm going to pick John.
I love this topic. It's actually something I've spent a lot of time thinking about. It's very existential, which is my middle name, existential. John Robert Existential Brown. I think I've boiled it down to, it's like, when you distill things down to certain simplistic categories, I find them to be in 3 buckets. Bucket 1, 0 happens, nothing. It's like the body's gone, the spirit's gone, everything stops. That's it. Over, done.
Oh.
Bucket 1, that's bucket 1. Bucket 2 is the recycle program. Where I think the Buddhists pretty well, where even though they don't believe in God as Western Judeo-Christian define God, creator, they see things in cycles. Like I come up here every year and I see these beautiful fall seasons every year, and each one is always beautiful and it's a great experience. Some a little bit better than others. But the universe seems to work and operate on cycles, so that things are constantly going through cycles.
Yeah.
So I feel very strongly that's a real high contender. Why we need to go through that exercise if we adopt Jesus' message about being saved sort of puts the brakes on the recycle. For the third bucket, and the third bucket is it's a final destination, good or bad. And I think, everybody in this room and within my orbit is always going to be considered in the good destination. I don't know anybody personally who I would say is going to be destined for hell. But when I heard about people like what Saddam Hussein had did with those poor people that were tortured, or somebody like Adolf
That's a
Hitler,
good one.
I can't imagine a loving God would allow somebody like Hitler to occupy the same destination
That's a good
that
one.
Mother Teresa comes to.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking there's going to be a judgment if I go to bucket 3, which to Becky's point, I want to do the right thing and be attentive to what I think is right so that I end up in the right destination. So having done the survey and the simplification of my existential research, I do think there are 3 buckets. And I tend to believe that all 3 could actually exist. And it's only God's mercy or God's wisdom to decide what bucket you end up in.
Mm.
But I do believe you can still have somebody who wants to recycle. Great Buddhist friends who talk about how they want to do better in the next life, and maybe they'll be granted that opportunity. But somebody like me, I'm happy. When I get in that airplane to come up from LA to Minneapolis and I hit those herky-jerky moments of turbulence, I'm saying the Hail Mary, the Our Father, and all the other things. I feel like I'm at peace with the way I live my life personally. I have a very strong sense of secureness for myself and a love of the Jesus that I came to learn along my journey. And I actually am not afraid what one bit to go to the other side. I think David would be there. In terms of chronologically, Nancy's going to be the youngest one and the last one to possibly leave if you look at, just in terms of age. We almost lost Jeff. Jeff stuck around because they said a lot of Hail Marys, Jeff.
Yeah.
So if I go first, you better be saying some nice things about me. So, but I do have that feeling about, life is just another cycle that we're going through, and I'm willing to leave this place in a comfortable place of doing the best I could do while I was here. I screwed up a few times, but I feel pretty strong that I've been saved to go to a place that I'll have no suffering, no pain, no wars, no Democrats. I think
I think they're going to the other place.
That's hysterical.
I think it'll be a really wonderful place to end up. I feel very strongly. And every time I come up to Minnesota, I say, well, if it's half as good as this, I'll be.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
I love that, John.
So
I love that too, John. And I wanted to just add something to that because I tell Jerry all the time about being very content. And we've all made our share of mistakes or have had our challenges. However, I have no regrets. And I can honestly say I don't have any bad baggage. Like, I don't have anyone that I had to, like, if I was on my deathbed, I would be like, oh, I wish I would have talked to so-and-so or whatever.
Really? I'm just joking.
Really. I mean, I feel.
I'm just joking.
No, I know. And I feel really good. And actually, every day I leave the house, and I don't leave the house as much as I used to. But I say to Jerry, when I leave out that door, if something happens to me, I mean, I'm good, we're good, everything's good. Between my family, my friends, my relationships, I feel very, very, very content. And So I think that I'm glad you brought that up. I think that there's a lot of people that, there's families that don't talk to each other. We have a couple in our own family. I have it on Yonner's side, Brow's side. I mean, I can't imagine, and to have this, thank you, Becky, amazing discussion around this topic. And to me, that's the biggest thing is, being content and, are you enjoying the moments of the day? And, there's so much stuff that just does not matter. So I'm excited for whatever happens down the road. But if I left here today, I'm good.
That's a nice footnote there, Nancy. I'm gonna pass the baton to the person that let's see, I'm gonna be 65 next weekend. So about 62 years ago, I used to share a bathtub with a big sister. And I'm gonna share the Zoom camera. Here she is. Take it away. And don't splash anymore.
We used to play submarine, and John was a submarine. He went down underwater.
Oh,
Dog barking.
Oh my gosh. I remember that bathtub so distinctly. Anyway, I have a friend that always has said, you always know who puts your shoes on in the morning, but you never know who's going to take them off at night. And in other words, you don't know
We get it.
how you're going to get through the day, which kind of sticks with me because you know how people think they're being recycled. Why would they? Because they want to do it better next time. Why don't you just do it better this time? And so I always thought, I don't know about that, but I'm kind of a mix between Dad and Jeff in that I believe in heaven and hell. Purgatory, I used to believe in, but I don't anymore because I have been I am a born again Christian, so I really believe that.
Sure she is.
You see, in the Bible, God is perfect. God is perfect. And if you commit one sin, I don't care, he's the only perfect being. So if you commit one sin, then you can't go to heaven. That's how I feel. Like you commit one sin, you're toast. And
You believe that?
yes, except Jesus fixed that.
the fixer.
He's the fixer. And that's what it was before Jesus.
I see.
Because when Jesus died on the cross, he died for all of our sins, not just some of them, not just the big ones, but he died for all of our sins. So he is the intercessor between the perfect Father and us. And so, I have so many churches that will okay, well, if you do this, if you do that, you're going to have a better place in heaven. And like the Mormons think there's 144,000 that are going to rule heaven. And so that's why Mormons, if you ever come across Mormons, they are the nicest people because they are really working hard to get up there. We don't have to work hard, but I know a lot of people say, well, if you believe in Jesus and he saved you, then that means you can do anything you want to do without penalty. Well, that is not true either. First of all, you do have a physical penalty in your life for everything you do. Second of all, if you really believe that Jesus suffered, died, he tortured, died for us, you are not gonna want to do anything bad. Of course, you're gonna make mistakes, but you're not gonna want to go out and rob people, and you're not gonna want to do it. And I know people say, well, you have to say the prayer, you have to confess, you have to do this. But you know what? What I believe is that God knows everyone's heart. So no matter what we might think about somebody, God, or what they even say, God knows their heart. And that's what I think he judges the heart. So we can't judge somebody, whether they're going here or there or whatever. And the other thing is, people say, a lot of those preachers say, oh, well, if you're this, you can have diamonds and riches and you can have a bigger house. They promote that. You can have a bigger house in heaven. Well, for me, I feel like when I go, I'm going to be next to Jesus. And that's all I'll ever need, because I'll see if I want to see my relatives, I will, but I'm just saying, being next to Jesus is all you ever need. And I think if he thinks you should see your relatives, you see them if you want to. I don't know, but I don't know the details. I'm just saying, being next to Jesus is like the biggest thing you could possibly have. You don't have to have a big house. You don't have to have this. Anyway, that's a little spiel.
Well, going back to the recycle thing, what I think what you're suggesting is that this opportunity to live in this world, you were pulled from wherever spirits are made, or souls, that whatever that soul substance is, and you were put into the womb of Patricia Rouse. But for Buddhists, they want to know why just that one time to come into that one location. I'm white privileged. What if I had a chance to come back and I was a kid in Africa?
Why would you want to?
No, but I'm saying, but if you were a kid that came from Africa, why were you chosen to come into this life as a kid from Africa versus look at how fortunate, and they'll never even know who Jesus is necessarily, or some Aborigine person in Australia. So that the option of having another chance at this is maybe.
Can you Google the word describe coming back in
Call
life
them, they need their treat.
Why
as an animal or whatever you like? The word it's
Reincarnation.
like that only is deliberate.
Well, so you're saying people born in Africa or like an
am I
Aborigine?
diamond or you?
Daisy, here.
Diamond and silk. What is it?
You're saying the people born
Daisy, come on.
without
get a
white
treat.
privilege or whatever, or you feel like they're not happy or they're not content with their life?
They were given a bigger challenge to survive than I was.
How do you? What makes you see that? Why
Because
would
I look at the late night commercials with the babies with the big bellies and the flies all over them.
Yeah.
I wasn't brought up like that.
No.
I came in a great place. I had to get my blood changed a few times. They kept poking me with needles. I was a little.
Exactly, old yellow blood.
I should get a Chinaman. That's why I like.
This reminds me of Saturday Night Live.
It's
Nice
like these
counterpoint.
two are in the bathtub.
Sorry, John. It was 5 seconds.
They're making a big splash. These two in the bathtub.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, yellow stuff.
So I mean, that part of when you talk about existentialism, like, what is the essence of existence?
But that's your opinion that
Oh,
you
no, it's not my
are.
opinion.
Yeah, that
There's
you
no
are.
facts out there.
Like you are like have such a greater life than that person. They might have a great life. Maybe they're starving, but
There are people that are born into this
that's
world.
something you like.
Girls, go sit somewhere else. Go on.
You can't.
Yeah,
You cannot explain what God.
I
Daisy,
can't. But I can
Yes.
judge that I ended
No.
up coming in with
No.
much more benefit,
They need their treat for coming in.
I did give it to them.
much
No,
more of a more
no,
comfortable life than they were born
No.
into. So how do you
No.
explain why some souls
I'll take it.
come onto this planet? You know,
No,
Donald Trump's kids came in with a silver spoon. What did Ivanka have to do
Mhm.
for a job?
no.
Well, that's another topic. That could be like a
I'm
culture.
saying,
Right,
Hey,
That
because
could be a culture topic.
I'm not even talking about the year 2020. Go back 1,000 years. Go back, you know, whatever, when humans were still trying to struggle and live, and they came in at that particular point in time. If you believe there was a history, if you believe that there was life beyond what we're currently living right now, because there's no evidence. I can't go back and prove that there were pioneers that came here, because I was born in 1955, and at that point, my life began, and that's all I've ever known. I don't know any other life.
But they don't know any other life. And you know what? It's maybe God has just for the sake of discussion. Maybe God has people that need. Who's left? Somebody?
Jeff,
Jeff.
he's got Hogan's there.
So maybe that is he not coming back? Can you say goodbye?
No, he accidentally bumped off.
Or should we wait?
Nancy, you were
Well,
going to,
I used up too much of the time
No,
here
that-
to bring
No,
out
that's
the
fine.
recycle aspect. Maybe Becky, who's directing this.
Well,
No,
no,
I know that Deborah has to pick one more person.
Yeah, well, who's left?
Deborah has to pick one more person.
I can tell you, I love this. I love that I get to pick the next person because we started with Dad. We went through the family. We recycled through the family. and now it's Mom's turn.
But should we wait? Should we see if Jeff
Yes,
can come back?
I have my cell phone,
You
so I can't text
can
you.
you-
Time.
Text him, Nancy, or
Nancy or Becky, can you try and alert?
Yeah,
me?
I'm gonna text him.
Can we take a 2-minute
Yes.
refill break?
Yes. Oh, there he comes. Oh, I thought I heard him.
I see his J there.
I'm back.
Okay.
You've been recycled.
We waiting for you,
What I was
Jeff.
going to say was that.
Well, just a minute. His picture is not here yet, Deborah.
He can hear,
It might not come.
but he can hear.
Can you hear Jeff?
Can you see me?
He can see you, but
J, just the J.
he hear you.
Maybe we'll start calling Jeff J.
What I wanted to say before Mom goes is that maybe some people, like kids get cancer or, you know, have terrible things or born defective or whatever, is for the rest of us to be able to have the opportunity to help someone else. You know, maybe to show our
Sure. Yeah,
advantage. I don't
there's a
know.
purpose for everything, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily think it's because we need to be recycled.
Well, that's interesting. That's another topic. Is there a purpose? I mean, is there a purpose for everything? That would be a good topic too.
Hey, Jeff, are you there?
I'm here. I'm listening.
Okay.
That's okay. Don't worry about my picture.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, so I guess Mom, it's your turn.
Okay, well, it's nice being last because you get to hear everybody's ideas here.
Yeah, I know what it's like to be number 5.
Yeah, well, I was number 6. Anyway, you know, it's funny because when Becky thought of that, I keep thinking of different things. And of course, my first grade, well, first of all, I remember going to church from a little girl. And I think the thing that impressed me was looking at my mother's hands as I would kneel next to her. That was I wasn't focusing on Father Klinghammer. I was focusing on my mother's hands. So church was kind of, you know, that was de rigueur, going to church every Sunday. So, but then the next thing was Sister Emily, my first grade catechism teacher. Not going to a Catholic school, you were obliged to go to catechism every Saturday. for your religion. So isn't that interesting? They don't think, remember Becky, you did that, and John
My
and
kids did it too.
yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so went to catechism class, and Sister Emily, I loved Sister Emily. She kind of reminded me of Emily Browse. She had that really sweet face, shaped like that, very soft. And she would talk about heaven, purgatory, and hell. Gosh, that would really kind of upset me, the idea of hell, and would deter you from sinning, you know. But anyway, until a little bit older, I think I've told you this story before, that when I was young and I would go upstairs to bed, there was a register that brought the heat upstairs. So when Mom and Dad had company, I could hear their conversations. And my dad was adamant that there was no hell. And because God would not do that to someone. That was his idea. Well, that was really reassuring to me that there was no hell, because I really believed my dad. So as time went on, you know, you evolve.
Oh,
We
we do?
yeah. You don't? You didn't?
No, we do. I just want to know. Not everybody evolves.
Well, I think I did. And I think, you know, raising the children, we were bringing them to church every Sunday and so forth. And then all of a sudden we kind of drew away from that. And my influence was your father, because I could see him evolving. And so to continue the story, you know, when you're raising a family, you're not really thinking deeply about if there's a heaven or a hell. You're so busy doing that until the family left and I start reading more things, I begin to think about it more. And just like you, Becky, I don't know. You know, I want to believe. I remember when Dot remarried, and I thought, gosh, if there's a heaven, who's she going to want to be with, Jerome or Russ?
There's actually a parable. There's a parable that Jesus was asked.
Oh, really?
Yeah, about the guy who had married or the woman who married several times.
Yeah.
But the resolution was, well, whatever your connection was with a married person is satisfied and fulfilled with your relationship with God.
Well, that's a good answer, because maybe that motivated me to stick with Dad, because I really wanted to be with him when I got to heaven, if I get to heaven. Anyway, I think it's such a overwhelming. You know what, Jeff, you're reassuring to me, because you have such strong faith. I love people that have strong beliefs. And it's reassuring to me that
It's what I know, Mom.
well, that's very reassuring, Jeff. So you know that was Becky's question. So Becky and I don't know yet, but you know, you were reinforcing things to me. And of course I love Dad's answer. And actually, I'm so impressed with my family. They step up to the plate every time and are deep thinkers and loving people.
Well, I don't know about John.
Yes.
Exclusion of John.
Don't go in a bucket for what, Jeff?
Anyway, thank you, Becky, for bringing this up. I told Debbie I think I want to strike because I don't want
As a matter of fact, I did this late at night. I posted it late at night. And the next one, I'm like,
Where's John?
that wasn't a good subject. I'm like, but I think it's important to talk about. But I really was drawn to Nancy, your reaction because I'm so in tune with you, Nancy. I'm in tune with all my siblings. But your reaction was like, oh, this is going to be hard. This is going to be hard. And Nancy, you're so beautifully transparent and honest with your answer about it being sad, because it, you know, you think about it being a loss, but you also think about it being a gain. But the problem is like, we're just, you know, we maybe know for sure, but we can choose for sure. We can choose what to believe in, which is comforting. I love all of your answers. You've given me such comfort, all 6 of you. So
Well, the other thing is I did want to mention something. You know, it's been very, you know, having a 94-year-old living in your home is very interesting. And she's the oldest, and she's lost all but one of her siblings. So just because I'm the youngest, there's no guarantee here as to what and how things are going to go. And you know, I think it's really hard being the oldest and seeing your younger siblings go before you. I can't even imagine that.
You won't have to worry about it. I won't have to worry about it because I'll go before you guys. So.
Yeah, you know, Deb, you say that, you know, in all seriousness, I mean, I think that's the thing. I think that's the thing that makes me so sad, is the fact that we are so fortunate to have such an amazing family. And that's the bottom line, right? I know a lot of people. I know so many people that don't have the quality and the mutual respect and the love and care that we have for one another. And it's such a gift. And so, you know, that's why I don't like talking about it, because yeah, it may be beautiful on the other side, but it's beautiful right here.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I love that, Nancy.
God will enjoy it every day.
that's a great way to end the theme.
The thing about the being beautiful right here is that's a personal thing that we can all revel in. But there's so many people alive right now and over the centuries that have not had good lives. They've had hard lives, painful lives.
Mm-hmm.
We if you say blessed, or you can just say fortunate, or you can say whatever.
Yep.
You know, when Jeff was going to leave us, that was a very tough time.
Yeah.
And we were so fortunate that he survived all that. And same thing with Dad and all the things. I remember driving down Ventura Boulevard, and Mom alerted me that Dad had we thought he died, and I pulled. I said, Dad, and he was out. And then I did a U-turn in the middle of the boulevard and raced to the hospital, and that was a number of years ago. What, 4 or 5 years ago, Mom?
Oh my gosh, a lot longer than
So
that.
It was 5.5.
Yeah, and
Five
I really
years
thought-
ago in July.
I really
Yeah,
thought
that was-
that was
Yeah,
it.
it's 5 years ago.
And you know, I was
Yeah.
thinking, well, he left, and at least I was there to see him and say goodbye. And Mom was there with me, and I could help Mom and all that stuff. But it was fake news. He didn't die. He survived, and you know, we never know. We don't know when I could have fallen, you know, in an airplane crash or all the other things that can happen randomly.
The bulls could have gotten
The bulls, I could have been, you know, but we just don't know when the time is going to come. And if you just try and live the moment, as Nancy said, be in the now, and really appreciate as much as you can, be grateful. I
2
think
minutes. Done.
that is like going into
That's the lesson.
the positive savings account that we keep adding up for ourselves. The currency for ourselves is that we have that mental attitude rather than going around thinking the world's going to end and, you know, woe is me and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, look at Mom when she had her cancer. I'll never
Yeah,
forget that night. I can't remember if you were there, but I do remember sitting in our family room. Maybe you were there.
Yeah, no, I'm saying
Yes,
what, you know,
sitting in
Mom's
our
gonna
family
go.
room was on. It was night, and Dad came and said,
Yeah.
I can't. of course, in those days,
Yeah.
the C word was death.
Yeah.
Nobody survived cancer in those days.
Yeah.
And not only that, but then he says it was a very serious one,
Yeah.
and that there was 3 choices that they had to make. One was to amputate her arm. That was a specialist in New York because it was such a
Debbie has such a
severe
good memory.
cancer. One
Yeah.
was to have radiation, and the other one was to have it cut out and removed. Surgery, which is what they chose. But I mean, there's 2 things. That was like such a horrible moment because I thought, Nancy was 2 years old. Mom had 5 kids.
Yeah.
It was so hard. On the other hand, it gave me a great opportunity to use it as an excuse not to get my homework done in school. my mom was in the hospital with cancer.
That's too funny.
Yeah.
Everything. But I can remember when she had her surgery, I was at school.
Yeah, and it was on October 3rd.
Oh, it was?
Yes.
I didn't remember that, but I can remember calling from the payphone, like Dad or whatever was calling, and Mom was still took a long time in recovery because you got sick, right? From the anesthesia. So it was like a long time. Oh, that was a long day.
I relate to that, Deborah. I remember thinking, what would Dad be like without Mom? And how is he going to manage all, what we have to do? And I was thinking, on behalf of Dad, that would be a real a severe loss.
It would have been a disaster.
Well, let me just add to this. So if I could have known you were thinking that, John, I could have relieved your mind, because I went over to Virginia's the next morning after we learned and told her, and she said, let's go for a walk. And we walked, I don't know how many miles around Old Farm. And I remember so well saying to her, Virginia, I mean, this is a pretty bad diagnosis, but I said, one thing I know, that if this ends badly, I'm leaving 5 children in the best hands possible. That was my words to her. So that's
And
just,
on a lighter note, the other thing I asked Dad one time, it was, Dad never flinched when I asked him this question.
What?
But
never finished.
what's a wet dream?
What's what?
Why did you ask him that?
I didn't hear
About it. I'm like, I kept hearing about wet dreams. I'm like,
What does that have to do about
I asked him, guys.
that. We missed it. Nancy, I missed that. What?
We didn't hear it. What did you say?
What a wet dream was. Dad never flinched.
Oh, maybe that'll be my topic.
Oh, she's so
Dad,
funny.
you're so good.
Oh, honey, you're right.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, on that
Okay.
note, I have to go and turn
Okay,
off.
I'm going to tell you my topic for next week.
You have it ready.
Yes.
Jeff, go ahead.
Wow.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Impressive.
You ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Born ready, Jeff.
Bucket list.
Oh, that'll be.
What is on your bucket list? And it can be more than one thing. And it can also be something if you say, like, I wish I would have had this on my bucket list and I missed it.
Okay.
How many buckets?
John has to know.
Dad, you get as many buckets as you want.
John's the bucket counter.
Yeah.
That's a great one, and I just want to make sure we catch, before Nancy signs off, Deborah has an announcement to make.
Oh, she's pregnant.
Congratulations.
Cloud flew over.
She's 20 wants to tell me that the water of the bathtub is cold either.
Virgin death.
She puts spiders in there when I wasn't looking.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, I think most of you maybe know this already, but I'm gonna be staying at the lake until 2021.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's the.
She's going to be here to celebrate Dad's 90th birthday.
Yes.
I love it.
For sure.
I was thinking just the winter, but then John, I think, says, oh, 2021. I'm like, what?
Thumbs up.
Yeah.
She's in quarantine.
Yeah, maybe COVID will be over by then.
You just want that bedroom all to yourself.
It's got my name on it.
I'm not going to give up the perfect service we get from Cinderella, Deborah. No. I want that forever.
You got it.
Love you guys.
Becky,
Love
that
you,
was really
Jeff.
wonderful.
Say hi to the Hogans there, Jeff.
Will do.
Becky, thank you, but not thank you, but thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Becky.
Thank you.
Yeah, Beckline, that was awesome. Thank you.
Turned out pretty good, Becky.
We went to a good.
It's one of the best ever, Becky.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, we can't hear Becky.
We can't hear you, Becky.
Darn it. We can see you though.
Oh, we hear you now.
No, can't
No,
hear
we can't
Becky.
hear you, Becky.
Can't hear
She's
you.
got music on. She's jamming.
I can't hear music.
We can't hear you, Becky. Can't hear the music either.
But we can hear. We
Now
can.
we can hear you.
Okay.
Now we can't.
Okay. Goodbye. See you next week on Zoom.